Oh boy!
What are you doing here?
Just thinking about the next episode of my car story.
Wow!
Hello friends, today our guest is an extraordinary person, car guru, YouTube influencer, outstanding communicator, and only child in the family. Please welcome Lou Costabile.
Aelita, my pleasure. It's good to be with you.
We have a dessert from Lou. We have
Dessert?
Yes, 3 funny stories from Lou Costabile. Yes.
Almost every car video is a funny story, so I'll try to pin them down to funny stories. So one of the 4 funny stories is there was a gentleman who had a 1963 Chevrolet Corvette Stingray split window, which is kind of a coveted car in the Corvette and let alone the collector car world. It's just a beautiful car. It was a 1-year only with the split window, and it became very desirable. So I walked up to him and I said, whose car is this? And he raised his hand, and I said, how do you make a 1963 split window Corvette disappear? He looks at me and goes, I have no idea. I said, you park it next to a 1913 Bugatti and nobody pays attention to it. So he laughed and I laughed. Well, we ended up, from that story, after I'm talking to him, I said, really beautiful car. I'd love to video your car. And when I said that, he didn't know who I was, which is fine. I'm not Jay Leno yet. Maybe one day when I keep doing interviews with you, maybe I'll be that person. So, but the story wasn't done yet. He looks at me and says, there's actually a car that I have that has quite a story. I said, okay, tell me about that car. He says, I have a 1957 Chevrolet. And pausing for a minute, a 57 Chevrolet is probably the design of the 50s classic, but there's a lot of them out there, so it's not all that special. But then he said this. He says, and it's still on the original tires. And I went, what? So now remember, I just met this person. So I said, didn't you say that your wife wasn't feeling too well, so you were going back home? He says, yeah. I said, would you mind if I follow you back to your house? So we ended up videoing that car. It's the 1957 Chevy with the original tires on it. You could see it. I think it has over 200,000 views on it. And that was all. Almost so many videos I do are spur of the moment. When somebody knows I'm coming to the garage, it's not spur of the moment, but a lot of the spur of the moment stories are funny. So the next spur of the moment story is I'm meeting a gentleman named Humberto, and he is from Mexico. He has this great, he sounds like, Ricardo Montalbán. He has this great accent to him. Hello, Lou, it's so good to see you. Come over to me and I will touch you and you will be magically transformed into a better person. He's got that great sound to him. And he loves Lincoln Continentals. And I asked him why he loves Lincoln Continentals. He says, well, when I was a small boy in Mexico, my dad owned one of the first Lincoln Continental Mark IIIs here in Mexico, and I love that car. And he said, me and my brother, we weren't really kind of allowed into the car, let alone I had a Swiss pocket knife, an army knife, and my dad gave it to me. And he didn't like me playing with that, so I put it up on the dashboard, and it slipped into the dashboard air vents. He says, so I lost it. And I was afraid to tell my dad that I lost it, let alone the fact that I was in his car. It wasn't going to work out well. Well, his dad ended up coming home with a Cadillac one day, and he couldn't find the car. So he was telling his brother when he was here in the United States, he said, man, I used to love Dad's green Lincoln Continental. And he was restoring a car, one of these cars, and his brother said to him, he says, I happened to pass this place, and there was a green Lincoln Continental out there, just like Dad used to have. Maybe you want to go see it. So he went to see it, and it was on the ground, and the ground was moist, so the whole under frame was rusted out. So it's just the top of the car was good. Well, he had a good frame, so he needed the top of this car. He bought the car, he brought it back, and as he's disassembling it, the Swiss Army knife falls out of the bottom of the car. I can't make those stories up. So the last story I'll share with you, the third, the strawberries, the nuts, and the whipped cream, the nuts, and the cherry on top. So I'm at that muscle car in Corvette National again, and I'm just about to leave. It's about 6 o'clock. I'm exhausted. I've done nothing but smell car exhaust all day. I am so excited. I didn't eat, so I'm really exhausted, and I'm leaving. And as I'm leaving, they have this big front door, and they have a car up there. They have this purple Corvette, and it was called the Purple People Eater. It was a famous race car, and I've done a video on it, so you can check that out. But as I'm leaving, the gentleman who owns the car is Lance Miller, who was one of the owners of the Carlisle events, this great show out in Pennsylvania. And Lance said, boy, that was fun doing the video with you. I said, well, great, Lance. And I'm getting ready to leave. And he's like, I got this other car. And I kind of know what that means. It means I want to video that car. I was just so exhausted. I'm like, no. But he was such a nice guy that I said, oh, okay, show me this other car that you're so excited about. He goes, well, it's not in the hallway, or it's not in the area here. It's out in the hallway. They have it when people are walking up. So we walk out there, and it's this car called a 2010 Maytag, which looks like a Ford GT, a 2005 or 2006 version, but it's all fiberglass, a little bit wider. And the short story is it's a full-blown race car. I mean, carbon fiber doors, very light. Anyway, this thing has 650 plus horsepower, and we're now in the lobby of a very beautiful place. I mean, there's chandeliers, there's nice carpeting. This is a very exclusive place we're at. And he says, would you like to do a video of this car? And he was just so nice, and I said, okay, let's do a video of this car. So we took off the pins to take the engine compartment out. Now the floor is all marble in here, or really nice polished stone or something. It looks like marble. So we put the car, the trunk of it, we put it behind the car. And when he jumped into the car, like a race car driver jumps into the top of his car, he started hitting all these buttons. And as he started hitting these buttons, my face went like, because it wasn't starting a normal car, like turn the key and it starts. It was, it sounded more like he was starting a rocket. And when he started this rocket, the noise that came out of the back of this car literally shook the whole room, let alone I thought the chandelier was coming down from the ceiling.
Wow.
And the piece that was behind, that we put behind the car, started sliding across the floor.
It wasn't me. It was Larry, your evil twin brother.
Wow.
It was that loud and powerful. And I was like, shut it off, shut it off. So I had him shut it off. I go, what are you doing? You almost got the cops in here. And the smile on his face, watching me get so panicked, was just priceless. So
That's really funny.
those are the three stories I'll share with you.
That was funny.
Thank you so much, Lou, for a very interesting interview. With us all this time was the car guru, YouTube influencer, Lou Costabile.
The best way to stay in touch with Lou and his car stories is to subscribe to his YouTube channel and, of course, like and share his amazing car videos.